Rating on Apple with a $120 price target. Tom Forte is senior research analyst with D.A. Davidson. Tom, welcome. What's the most important of these announcements for shareholders today?
Yep. So when you think about the upcoming announcement for a 5G smartphone, today's set of announcements was essentially the appetizer before the entree. I would argue the Apple One service, so collectively putting their services together in a bundle, may have been the most significant. At the same time, it's hard to discard the importance of the tablet today, with Logitech pointing out there's 1 billion consumers working remotely and another 1 billion learning remotely. So really good time to refresh their tablet lineup for Apple.
That's a good point. And the iPad, I think 8th generation that they announced, will probably get a little overshadowed by some of the other announcements here. But are either the iPad or the watch big revenue generators? I mean, it would seem like, you know, investors are more interested in pricing, you know, Apple One as a service to infinity as opposed to, okay, they're going to sell, you know, iPads and watches at a price point significantly lower than the iPhone.
Great question. In a normal year, I would say anything on the iPad is less important, and services in this case are very important, arguably behind some of the big PE multiple expansion in the stock. But again, because of COVID-19, with 1 billion consumers learning remotely, a refreshed tablet lineup, recognizing it's not a huge percentage of sales, I think is more important than it would be in a different year. Is
this Apple's best niche, though, Tom? Because so many of those who are buying laptops are doing cheaper PCs, they're doing Chromebooks. This iPad, while I think a little bit cheaper, is, I think, about $600. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong on the pricing of what they just announced, but are they really in the sweet spot here?
Great point. And I would say the entry-level iPad can be, I think, at the $299 price point. So while the iPad Air is a much more expensive device, in some ways kind of a laptop equivalent, the entry point in their iPhone lineup is $299, I believe, which does make them more competitive with the Chromebooks and some of the other items that you pointed out there.
So as we look into 2021 and the fact that they didn't launch the iPhone 12 today, how important is that launch and the timing of the launch going to be to validate the run-up in Apple shares this year?
Yep. So the fact that the shares were able to hit a $2 trillion market cap without the sale of a single iPhone 5G was remarkable. But to the extent that they essentially tipped their hand, suggesting that there would be a new smartphone 2 weeks timing later than last year's release, I still expect the 5G to come later in calendar 2020 and be a big driver of the stock over the next 12 months.
All right. And again, what would it take for you to see more upside to the shares from here? Or do you think the multiple expansion's just been too much?
No, I think at this point in time, great point. We need to see the 5G multi-year cycle we're all looking for and multiple years of positive unit growth in smartphones for Apple.